Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Off the Rack, a comic book discussion, review, and analysis series that I host here with my beautiful, talented, intelligent, funny, awesome, insightful wife, Tiffany. Today, we're going to be talking about plenty of comics and the Black Widow movie. So get your seatbelts fastened because we are going to have a humdinger of an episode. How you doing?
Good.
Excellent. Excellent. Good. By the way, this episode is, like every episode, sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching today's episode live right now as it's happening, guess what? You are a secret sponsor of today's episode. All you have to do to fulfill that bargain is use the super chats that are available to you through YouTube to ask a question or comment, and we'll read it here on the program, and the proceeds will go into the infrastructure that is ComicPop and CPR, ComicPop Returns. Couldn't have come up with a better name for the supplemental channel, ComicPop Returns, which this show is now living because, CPR. It's a life-giving operation.
Right.
And that's what this channel does. It provides oxygen to the other channel.
That's right. Also, if we suddenly disappear, it's because there may or may not be incoming thunderstorms. We don't know.
Yes.
And neither does anyone.
For some reason, this studio, which has stood for decades, if not half a century, unfortunately turns off the second that there is even the hint of thunder.
Well, that's how it survives. Looks like we're okay.
All right. I heard it in the background.
I heard
like
something.
You did.
But it looks like we're going to be okay.
All right. Well, let's not force us to have to knock on wood and figure that out. But before we do,
dally.
I wanted to say that Elizabeth Russell gave us a super chat and said, "Hey guys,
hi.
While the movie wasn't the worst,
okay,
I was really disappointed in the portrayal of Taskmaster, a villain I really enjoy in the comics. Elizabeth, you are not alone in this opinion. There are literally dozens of you on the internet who are happy to share that opinion, and we are happy to talk about that when we get to Black Widow."
Okay.
Brian Rowlands, how excited is Tiffany for the potential There's Something is Killing the Children Netflix series? Thanks for all the great content, and as always, thank you, Brian, for your contribution as always.
I'm as excited as I can be at the potential of another Netflix series that I've heard about. You know what I mean? Like, I keep hearing about comics. I enjoy becoming Netflix series, and
yes.
So when it happens,
then you will be excited. I mean, because neither of us were Sweet Tooth fans, so we didn't follow it. All I heard was that Robert Downey Jr. was a big fan and wanted to make it happen.
Well, I'm just saying, because of Jupiter's Legacy.
Yes, which is terrible.
The Millerverse is kind of like they're doing things, but who knows when they're going to get anything done. And Witches has been in development for doing things, so I'm like
forever.
Needless, I'm excited, and I appreciate you asking that because you know how much I care about that series.
Yes.
But I'm not going to be like, oh my god, until I see.
Until you watch the show.
Well, until there's a release date.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or some production photos.
Yes, but you have seen the people involved in the production, and they have done arguably decent stuff. It's not like it's the guy who directed Ghost Rider working on it, Mark Steven Johnson.
Why would you say that?
Because Mark Steven Johnson has been keyed into a number of comic book properties and arguably might have done a better Preacher series than the Preacher show, despite how terrible he is as a director. Because his idea originally was just he went to the head of HBO at the time and he grabbed every issue of Preacher and he went, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Like, we're just going to do that.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, do that. And then that didn't happen. Garth Ennis himself, of course, is famously saying, why would I do that? What a stupid idea. But anyway. Let's get into some comics.
Okay.
A bunch of them came out. I'm only going to talk about a few of them, honestly. There's not much to really discuss, but I will get into some. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. I'm just looking at the books that are in front of me at the time.
The time is now.
The time is now, yeah. So let's have a look at them and talk about them.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Justice League Infinity from J.M. DeMatteis came out. This was a continuation of the animated series. DeMatteis worked with James Tucker, with art by
Ethan Beavers.
Ethan Beavers, great name. I love that. No offense to Ethan Beavers, you're actually a really fun, talented artist because you've managed to capture the feel, the look, and the tone of the original beloved series.
Yeah, it's so funny because the cover of this,
is not that at all.
And that's such an interesting decision.
Yep.
Because so many folk were kind of brought into that realm or had maybe a first foyer into the Justice League via the animated show.
Right.
So I feel like you'd like want to capitalize on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they do. The interiors look exactly like that.
I understand, but wouldn't you think that you'd want the cover that sits on the shelf to call someone over?
I think it
like,
would.
Hey, it looks like this.
Right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. The cover, actually, I was kind of excited. I thought it would be a cool idea if the cover was indicative of the interior art originally. I thought like, oh man, it's going to continue the universe of the animated series, but it's going to look like a comic book and kind of, I don't know, bridge that gap between the fandom of the show and the people who read the comics, because so many Justice League fans were born thanks to this show.
Right.
Also, DeMatteis wrote some of the episodes of this show.
That's right.
And wrote some of the best ones. Of course, he adapted What Do You Get for the Man Who Is Everything?
Oh, that's a good episode.
Yes.
It's a really good episode. It's a sad episode.
It's such a sad episode. But of course, brilliance of Alan Moore, adapted by the brilliance of James DeMatteis. I've heard a rumor, and I told DeMatteis this myself, that it's one of the few adaptations that Alan Moore actually approves of.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
Tall praise. So yeah, this issue was fun. It's chock full of J.M. DeMatteis goodness. If you're looking for an introspective, long-winded narrative plot line or through line throughout their device throughout the entire book, where Martian Manhunter's inner musings punctuate the entirety of this series with virtually no breaks whatsoever, then I got the book for you. Of course, DeMatteis also wrote a Martian Manhunter series. I think that's right. So he's very well versed with Jean. But the idea here is that Jean steps away from the League, which of course he did at the end of the Justice League series.
Yeah, he did. I feel like he does that.
He does that. It constantly
Sometimes
steps away from the
he's
League.
just kind of like, listen, I can't.
Oddly enough, this is not carrying over what he did in the show. He's not like, I guess, Asian and married.
That was cute.
It was cute, but that's not what this is.
Okay.
It's a different character that he's portraying. Okay. Anyway, so he's isolated and sad and thinking about humanity. The I'm trying to remember Ivo's Amazo, the android, which of course has like god tier powers. He is looking for the answer to the question, "Who am I?" Which is just, that's J.M. DeMatteis' bread and butter right there. So that's going on. And also, of course, the Justice League are celebrating Wally West's birthday, and then they get attacked, and they have to fight.
Of course they do. Does he comment on that? They're like, they can't even get through his birthday? Or
no, he was thrilled. He's like, yeah, what a great birthday. Best birthday ever. But Apocalypse attacks because, of course, at the end of Justice League, Darkseid dies.
Yeah.
Or dies.
Yeah.
So Granny Goodness is fighting to take control of Apocalypse. Calabac is fighting to take control of Apocalypse. So the two of them are at war, and they both are going to destroy the Justice League, but separately. It's just a fun little comedy of errors / classic episode of Justice League. I think it's a fun continuation of the series, and it does its job.
Cool.
It's cute. It's cute. I want to say it's really great, and it's just kind of fun. I do think that the Jean narrative was a little long-winded. It's a little much.
Well,
everything about it's great.
I feel like, listen, I think that fits.
It fits.
It fits for
it's his character. It's the creative.
It fits for the creator. Yeah.
So no complaints, but I will say that there were times where I was like, I think I see where Jean's going with this, and I just skipped the boxes and went to the comic, and then I went back and reread the boxes, and I was like, yeah, I could have skipped it.
I could not read a comic like that.
I know. You know what happened? I took my parents were so like obsessively concerned about my future education wise that they forced me to take a speed reading course.
Oh.
Which is like, if you've ever wanted to have like respect for the written word, don't do that, because that's not what speed reading's for. And but I learned how to like read in chunks, and like basically it's just let your eyes gloss over it and don't like take in everything. It's just it's horrible. It's how to unlearn how to read, basically. But that part is still like ingrained in my head.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. So I can not enjoy comics as well as not enjoy novels. But Justice League Infinity, #1, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I dig it, and I recommend it.
Cool.
So I think Nick Smith is up next in the super chat, so I'm going to throw it to him in just a second. Nick Smith says, I thought Taskmaster was cool, but I really would have loved to have had them speak in the goofy Bronx accent that they're described to have in the comics. Yes. Tony has like a kind of phonetic way of speaking, and he's got this really ridiculously ornate costume that is, of course, like punctuated by his down and dirty Bronxian accent, which I always kind of was thrown off by as a kid. I was like, what the hell? Why is he talking like that? Is he from there? And it's like, yeah, he is.
Maybe they're saving it for the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, please. That's not a Bronx accent. That's a Yancey Street accent.
But they're using an accent.
Yeah, that's true.
And to a lot of people, a New York accent is
just New York.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a shield here. My face is a skull. All right. Pizza.
It's really hard to just say your face is the skull in the Marvel universe.
Right. Which one are you? Oh, so you're a Nazi? No, whoa. Do I sound like a Nazi? Come on.
You the guy on fire?
Oh yeah, that one. No. I got a hood. I have no peripheral vision.
What about the other one on fire? There's like 3 on fire.
There's like a lot of those. Do you mean the first one, the second one, Vengeance? And nobody talks about Vengeance. And he's like an Italian cop too. He probably sounds like me.
I know He-Man already crosses over with the DC universe.
Yes.
I kind of want to see Skeletor run into any number of Ghost Riders.
Yeah. Skeletor as the hood, he would look great. He would look just like Taskmaster. People are like, oh, you're not getting away with this time, Taskmaster. What are you talking about? Clang. Memento Mori says, Sal, Barbaric was really fun. Can't wait for issue 2.
Well,
Fair
he picked
enough.
it up because of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you dug it, man.
Yeah, I'll catch Sal up.
I wasn't sure which one Barbaric was.
I know, because you literally, I had to tell you what the name of that book was every single time.
Well, because like it's such a generic title. And I was thinking of like ENIAC from Bad Idea. Like, there's all these different like Axe and Barb names that are not barbaric. Anyway, thanks. I appreciate it. J. Joseph Fraser, hey, happy Monday, Tiffany and Sal, fellow poppers. Which artist alive or no longer with us would you pick to draw a picture of you? Tiffany, take it away.
What?
Who would you choose to do a portrait of you? And that does not include the incredible, whatever the hell his name was, who drew you for a comic we did a long time ago.
He did.
Who did an awesome job.
I would want Sienkiewicz.
Oh yes.
I want all the down and dirty, horrible, like sad, whatever parts. I want it all.
It would be great. It'd be so melancholic. I would love a melancholic piece. For a second, I entertained the thought of doing it, and then I'm like, that would cost me like $30,000.
Listen, the thought and the dream of it is enough. I don't actually need it.
I'm going to find out.
Don't find out
how much it would cost to do a portrait by Sienkiewicz.
Nope.
If it's under $25,000, I still won't do it because there's no way that it will be.
I appreciate your respect for me for knowing that's.
You'd be so mad at me.
I'd be so mad.
We could have a kitchen.
I just don't.
Now I have a cool picture.
I
of me.
value art.
I do too.
And I value art when it has to do with anyone else but myself.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So, no.
Yeah.
It's not worth it if it's me.
No. Andy Kubert for me.
Oh. I assume that could have also been just any non-comic book artist, but
that's
since we're on a comic book show.
Right. Dada. No. Devil's Advocate Productions finished Batman Earth 1 Volume 3 and questioned Black Label. Loved both. I think I saw your post about it. Any chance for back issues after 52, of course. Ha ha ha. Also excited for Control tomorrow. Nice. Yes. Tiffany plays Control on twitch.tv/ComicPop on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
We gotta finish that.
Yeah, but you thought you were gonna finish it.
And then I kind of got stuck on I wanted to do some of the side quests. It's like I don't want it to be over, and I don't 100% know if it's going to be over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Earth 3 will happen at some point on back issues, but it needs to be the same crew that did the last episodes.
Fetcher and
yeah, don't even start.
Okay.
Jevon Green says Black Widow was fun. Yelena was the highlight of the movie. I think they could replace Taskmaster with the Beetle or someone similar. Not much would change. The Beetle would have been fun. Would have been very, very silly though, and harder to sell. But yeah, I would love to see the Beetle. And Crimson and Kidna says, I just wanted to say I used the Comixology Marvel BOGO sale last week to catch up on Sword, Way of X, and Hickman's X-Men due to your high praises.
Yay!
He does not weigh in on whether he enjoyed them, but he did use the BOGO to do so.
I hope that they did enjoy it. And I appreciate you using the BOGO. I think that's smart shopping.
Damn right. Yeah.
Smart shopping right there.
Right. But don't worry. Just because it says BOGO doesn't necessarily mean it's a deal.
Listen, that used to mean buy one, get one, like free. But now it's buy one, get one.
Like half off.
Or 25% off.
I'm like, that's not a BOGO.
Oh.
It's something else.
I mean, it technically is buy one, get one.
Yeah, you get
then
one.
I fill in the rest of the sentence. Buy one, get one for the price that it is.
Yeah, that sucks. That's not anything.
Just buy two.
Yeah, I don't care for that. That's not a deal.
That's where we're going.
It's not a deal.
Well.
So I also read Justice League number 64 from Bendis and Steve Pugh.
I didn't even see that you would grab that, so it means I didn't read Dark.
I'm sorry. And it is in there, and Batman's in it. I didn't read it, but I did see it.
He's often, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the art's
how
really
much
great.
he loves hanging out with any sort of like supernatural, magical, mystical
We all know
anything.
he loves magic because of our episode of Back Issues, Batman Dead Man.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He's a big fan of magic and drinking his own blood.
Big fan.
Yeah, this is my last issue of Bendis' Justice League. I had honestly fallen off the series for a while.
And you caught back up?
And I caught back. Well, no. I read this one. And I didn't miss anything, and it's hopelessly boring and has nothing that gets me excited. There's a little bit of like Black Canary, Green Arrow.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, but it's it's very surface level. There's not much there, and clearly Bendis is going to do two plots, like the big one and like the kind of grounded,
the less big one,
and that has Green Arrow in it, and that's nice, but. Ultimately, I just don't care. Like I just found myself reading it because I do a show about comics. And that is not why we do a show about comics. Damn it!
I mean,
we do a show about comics because we love comics and want to get them to you. But I don't. This is work. And the art was like, like it's fine. There's some cool looking stuff technically in it.
Would you say that maybe? Like some other writers that we've talked about, Bendis should best be used for a miniseries at this point?
Absolutely. I think you just leave him in the box until he's ready to do something. Because
I was thinking about Batman Universe.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
But it was like, here's the beginning of the story, here's the end of the story, now fill in the rest.
Yeah, but what's funny is with me, Batman Universe could have gone on for 50 issues because each issue would have been like another, kick the can down the road.
You don't know
but
that.
That's true. You're right.
You don't know that. It's a different mentality when a writer's going into a mini series.
Yeah. Their approach is much more. It's very different from what their approach would be for an ongoing. But yeah,
I assume. I don't know.
This is pretty weak. It's weak sauce. It's not great, and it'll be my last Justice League, probably for a while because I don't really care. Like I like the Justice League. I appreciate them. But it takes a lot to get me to read that series, Just like International. It's a 35-year-old book. That's a book I liked, but even then it's silly and fun and weird. Justice League from Grant Morrison, more like JLA. That was fun, but again, like a little weird because it's Morrison. But didn't shortchange you on the action department,
right? And
then after that, it was like, who cares? There was Snyder's run, which was all just prelude to more metal. I could take or leave that.
Okay. You had some good and some bad there.
I did. But somebody was talking about Bendis's like approach and influence on Marvel, and I've noticed that like more and more people are forgetting like how important it was, like how much Bendis's influence on Marvel like led Marvel towards something people enjoyed, and it made me wistful for those days when he was like the architect of the Marvel universe practically in the comics for a long time. And it was like part of the reason why some of the things he did felt important was because he was also shepherding the universe. Like he was writing the Avengers. Aaron's writing the Avengers. Aaron's doing bigger stuff than Bendis ever did. So theoretically it should have like a huge impact on the Marvel universe, but it don't. And it's because literally no one else is playing with whatever the hell he's doing. It's just Aaron isn't dictating the line. He's doing the Avengers book. Bendis, when he was writing the Avengers, also was dictating the line because he's like, I'm also doing every event. And every Avenger story leads to the next event. And so every Marvel event it felt more cohesive because he was setting up that event. I don't know whether that's good or not, but it's its own thing. So I appreciate Bendis and I miss that Bendis.
Okay.
But this Justice League book is, it's for the birds, which is not to say that it's for the Thanagarians because they do heavily factor into this issue.
Well, maybe it is for them then.
But it's a big pass for me.
Wait, didn't you miss one?
No, I read Cosmic Readers, his earlier one where he talked about. Oh no, I did not. I'm sorry. That was my bad.
See, I know things.
There you go.
I know
Reader.
things about some other things.
There's two things. I felt Black Widow was decent, but I was surprised during the intro of the film because I never thought Disney would allow to show something as scary as human trafficking.
Well, it's funny is like people always accuse Disney of like, trying to make everything like sunshine and rainbows, but it's like then you look at any of the, like of their early animated films.
Yeah, and like nothing is happy.
The only reason I say that is because we were literally talking about Bambi, and it's like such a traumatic
movie
film when you're
for
a child.
Children and yeah.
Like it's needlessly so.
Yeah, and it has nothing to, it's so funny because like Bambi his mother gets shot, and then he meets this buck that may in fact be his father. But offers no comfort or explanation.
Nope.
He's like, yo, I'm a lot of babies' fathers.
Yeah.
Now get out of the friggin' meadow like your mother told you.
Yeah, and also like really, I probably will also die.
Right. Oh no, I will be killed first. It's actually kind of your mother was killed, but not for sport.
Yeah.
Because I have the antlers. They were really aiming for me.
Yeah.
I'm just so strong and swift that I got out of the way. And your mother was collateral damage.
She just took it, and then I left, and I came back, and I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah, no. Disney has never shied away from teaching you harsh lessons about life. The Fox and the Hound, guess what? If you have fundamental differences in your DNA, you can't be friends. Doesn't matter about your about your nurture.
Yeah, it's not okay. But yeah, so like that doesn't surprise me. That just takes me back to like again immediately. Like when you said that, I was like, we were just talking about.
Yeah, we're just talking about how dark Disney gets.
Bambi.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, I'm glad they dealt with that. But even then, they didn't go like this is about human trafficking and the dangers and blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, they could have in that,
but they but anyway, he also goes on to say, if I had to rank Black Widow with the other 24 films, I'd say it's fifth closest to the bottom. Well, I'm glad that you have a chart. The rest of us, I don't care enough to make a kind of like list.
Mine would be like it's a non-chart because it depends on the mood.
It really does. Like just like any film, everyone else says, what's your favorite comedy? My favorite comedy? What an impossible question.
I've never had anyone ask me that.
I have had people ask me that question a lot, enough to use it as an example in this conversation today. But anyway. Hardy 34. Hey guys, Black Widow feels like it was just made to introduce a new Black Widow. Still feels like it was okay. Definitely wasn't garbage in my opinion. There's a lot of opinions all at once, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Hardy.
Thank you.
And why try? I sweat. Says Black Widow reminded me a lot of Batman Arkham Knight with Taskmaster in a tank and the not so surprising twist ending reveal, but overall 7 out of 10. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, the tank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I totally forgot about that, but that was a cool sequence. I like that tank.
Yeah,
scene.
I also forgot about that from Arkham Knight too. So I was like, oh yeah.
I didn't play it, so I have no idea what you're talking about. LF says, hey guys, just wanted to show my support and say thanks because of your videos. I got into Hellions and the Winter Soldier comics. Nice.
Thank you. Yay.
That's dope.
That is dope.
Let's see. What else did we read? What did you read this week?
Well, I didn't know how many books to cover, so like I just read things.
Yeah, me too.
I won't go into it.
I have like 2.
Really? Oh my god, really?
And one of them was one you read.
Yeah, but you can talk about. I'm happy because I've got 3 others from that
great
section. I will just mention briefly that I read The Nice House on the Lake #2, but I'm not going to go into it because Sal hasn't read it, and I like him to just be able to enjoy it.
I appreciate that.
I think it look, the first issue was like a stronger issue in that it was set up this
crazy universe and premise.
Yeah, and this issue I thought did a really good job of collecting the chaos.
Yeah, because
something insane happens and it's literally the next day. And
that's awesome.
Told from another character, because you know how in the first issue we have one character start off like in another like in the future possibly.
Oh,
they were like kind of framing the story.
Yeah,
it's a different person framing the story from the house.
Okay.
From like what they are experiencing during it. There's like some transcript pages to read, which like, listen, it saved them a lot of page time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To read it. And there is something also about reading those written out dialogue versus like seeing it drawn out with speech bubbles, because it feels more chaotic and it's like literally the aftermath of what had just happened on the last page.
Okay.
So it's like, that really was punctuated. I was like, that's a really good use of page saving and, you know, not having the artist draw all of this.
Nice.
It's just, it actually worked.
It's economic, but also artistic.
Yeah. I'd also say that I the more I thought about this book as a whole, because at first I was like, this is a dope concept, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This issue made me like wonder how much Tynan will be putting like us, the reader, in the mind space or the headspace to question, if you were in this situation, how would you feel?
Right.
Like if you were one of these
If you were one
people,
of the chosen.
yeah, how would you feel about it? Because
Hmm.
there's a couple of ways that some like the characters are starting to move.
Yeah.
And some of the actions that they're taking. And yeah, like obviously like some things are unfurling. It's starting to feel in a way to me as though they're kept here not only because like he cares about them, but like in that way that pets are kept.
Oh.
Like kind of.
It seems like that's what it was.
It's like second issue.
That's
so I'm really enjoying it. Everybody has like such a great like their own voice when the characters speak.
Yeah.
Even though like they're in the transcript they're referred to by that like, you know, like they were like artists.
Yeah, they all get
like,
a title.
Yeah, and like I wasn't 100%. I couldn't quite remember. I didn't have the issue with me who everybody was.
Oh, it doesn't have a chart in the beginning in the second issue?
No.
Oh.
Maybe there was, but it didn't matter because then in follow-up pages I was able to start like recognizing everyone based on the previous, like it just worked.
Right,
And
it just
like,
clicked.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
So still to me a solid series and I'm looking forward to more.
Great. That's, by the way, written...
It's by James Tynion IV with art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno.
It is muy bueno.
It is. It really, really is.
I think I do that every joke. I apologize.
I think you do, but that's okay.
Crimson also said he did enjoy them. He just ran out of character.
That's okay. No. You didn't have to do another super chat for that.
No, but I appreciate it.
I read all the X titles that came out this week. She said, or like last week, she said hoping that that's actually what she meant.
Yeah.
That she actually did do that.
Right. Because there were quite a few.
And we'll obviously talk about like the big main book. But I'll just kind of touch on a couple of things.
Sure.
Hellions is dope.
Right.
That's kind of all I have for that. It's just continues to be dope, and we have a new artist on it.
Oh.
They do a great job.
I was gonna say, like, how did it fare?
It's a different styling, but it's still good. I'm going to butcher this name.
Okay.
Roger Antonio.
Okay. That sounds right to me.
Does a very nice job. We're starting to see like how the Hellions are fracturing.
Yeah.
Within their own ranks, because it's like,
well, it's led by Sinister.
It's led by Sinister, but it's even in their own stuff. Like, you know, Psylocke's pulling away because of the fact that like she's, you know, he's got Sinister has something over her.
Yeah.
But like obviously, you know, Grey Crow has been interested in her and they've kind of been forming like a bond, but she's pulling away from him and he doesn't know why. You know what I mean? So we're seeing that happening. Havoc's got his own thing going on,
as he always does.
Nanny took a baby.
Well, that sounds like
from
par
that.
For the course.
Remember they went to that?
Yes, the nursery.
Yeah,
so from Way of X.
No, not the nursery.
Oh,
from that place that they went where the robots were there, and that guy like thought he was just a dude, and turns out he was also a robot.
Yeah.
There was like a mutant AI thing there, and it made a baby.
Oh God,
she took it.
Okay,
so she's putting all of her focus on that. So Orphan Maker is like, what about me? Don't you care about it? So it's like it's all coming apart, and now the Sinister clone that was sent in place of Sinister has returned.
Okay.
And obviously, if you could imagine, he's not there on like any sort of like
mission of mercy,
or like a mission of like I want what's mine. You should die. No, he brought the Locust vial with him.
Oh no!
So they're like on Krakoa.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. This
everything
is
all coming
a mistake. Apart. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and Sinister is working with that DNA to make things.
Okay, we're getting closer to maybe finally getting the.
I don't know.
The chimeras.
Yeah, so he's working on that. So it was a great issue, not episode issue. Just drawn by a different individual.
Yeah,
it still looked good though.
Great,
still solidly looking book.
Awesome.
X-Force also came out.
Yes, it
did. There was a moment in this. I don't know if you saw anything from this.
No.
I almost sent it to you, like a screenshot of it.
You usually do,
but I was like, no, I'm going to show you on here
on stream.
Yeah, you don't have to make a big deal about it.
Okay.
But it's written by Ben Percy with art by Joshua Cassara and Robert Gill.
Okay.
We're dealing. This book's really focusing on. Obviously, they're still kind of being the police, but now that you have the X-Men as well, it's like they're still working on that. And they work mostly on security for Krakoa, but now with like this idea of like plant-based technology,
right?
You know, obviously Krakoa is that,
yeah.
And you have the Vrendi or Verde.
Oh, the Verdant or
I never can remember what they're called, but that's okay. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and how like they clearly had a falling out thanks to Beast.
Yep.
That we start like months ago.
Okay.
And there was like a nuclear spill.
Okay.
So
like off the coast of Krakoa?
Off the coast of like Washington State, I think. or just Washington. I'm not sure. It says Washington, so I assume it's Washington State.
I would assume.
And like they're like, this could affect Krakoa based on like things moving around. So they're like, you gotta go out there, X-Force, and deal with it.
Okay.
Because like Forge has created something that can clean it up.
Oh, cool.
But it's like already affecting the wildlife.
Uh-huh.
So like you're seeing these like killer whales get all like crazy.
Ah,
right? Like it's
like tumorous.
Yeah. In fact, like there's this. So here's something I noticed with the art here. You know how like we have like occasionally you'll point out something that you hate when they take a photo and put a filter on it. Sometimes I think it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it does, yeah.
This is just a picture of the ocean.
Yes, it is. That's straight up just a picture of the ocean.
Damn. I mean, who wants to draw the ocean? I get it.
I get it, but like, it's just a line.
Yeah, but there's this little girl and her grandma, and they're walking down the beach, and like her grandma's like, oh, if you find a whole sand dollar, like an intact one, you'll have like good fortune. And she finds one, she's like, am I lucky? And like in the background, in a wave, a killer whale. And it was like, that's not okay.
No,
I don't want that. That's like that's nightmare fuel for me.
Yeah.
But that's okay because X-Force has arrived, because Forge has armed them with like backpacks and sprayers so that they can spray them down.
Oh,
so
cool.
Here comes the Ghostbusters.
Wow, yeah, that's just the X-Busters.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. And there's 4 of them. That's awesome.
So, they ain't afraid of no nuclear waste and or killer whales. The reason they're setting this up, though, is because while they're there, they run into this.
Is that Man-Thing?
Is it?
I assume. It looks just like Swamp Thing,
well,
though.
We'll find out that it's actually a Man-Thing. Someone took the Man-Thing formula and has tweaked it.
Oh.
So that's kind of what this is focusing on. So like we got a little Man-Thing action happening in this. But I really wanted to share that with you because of the
because of that killer whale.
Well, and the Ghostbusters.
Well, and the Ghostbusters.
Really just the Ghostbusters. That killer whale was more for me. I was like, no. No, that's where all the sharks are.
Horrific.
So like I'll probably keep picking this up. I like checking it with Man-Thing.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, unless R.L. Stein's writing it.
Yeah. Sorry, my hair got stuck on the microphone thing.
Well, real quick, I was also going to mention that Just Some Guy with a Mustache says, it makes sense to me that this is one of the most fast-paced MCU movies considering everybody's Russian. I say everybody's Russian. Just like Rebecca Black there. Way to go. Thank you. Everybody's Russian. Anyway,
it's pretty good.
Danville 900. I don't even know what Bendis should do at this point for an ongoing. Maybe Green Arrow, but other than the Batman universe, he's not delivered at DC. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like, yeah, that's fair. Fair point. Counter? Anybody? No, I didn't think so. Danville 900. I dropped The Nice House in the Lake by Tynan. He honestly should have just written a novel with the info page dumps that doesn't work in a series. The art isn't great at distinguishing people.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's totally a subjective opinion. Objectively speaking, I think it does a solid job of creating an atmosphere that we don't always see in comics. For a lot of people, it being under a DC Black label,
right?
Probably they were thinking it was going to be more like having to do with a mainstream comic book character, but without Vertigo existing and with their desire to pursue, some of their creators' other stories. I happen to like it, but that's, again, my subjective opinion is that I think the art is stellar. I think it does a great job of capturing not only human emotion and horror, but it's like, it's unafraid to explore like what people kind of really look like. Yeah. And like certain darkness. And when I say that, I mean like deep shadows in reality. Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Thank you.
Brady White, your Zdarsky Daredevil video got me back into Marvel. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for trusting my opinion. I got Volume 2 yesterday and I've been loving it. This shit is McDonald's. Keep up the great work.
Oh, I was like, nobody said that.
Because he's loving it.
Yeah, I got that.
No, he did not say that. I did not want. Yeah, no, don't worry, Brady. That wasn't you. But I'm glad you dug it. Thank you, man. And Joey Amorim says, hey, Sal and Divinity, just found out I'm deploying in October and wanted to tell you I'm looking forward to ComicPop helping me pass the time. You guys rock. Good luck to you. Yeah. Stay safe if you can. Thank you for your service, and hopefully we'll be able to keep you company while you're out there. So thank you for your super chat, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the comments, man. If you can do that.
Yes.
And Denial says, wow, all this Man Thing referencing, and nobody at Marvel cared enough to reference Boy Thing. from Aaron's Avengers. I mean, I don't care either. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm talking about, is that there's a thing called Boy Thing that's referenced in Aaron's Avengers, and literally nobody else could care less. And it's like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Why would they? It's Aaron's Avengers.
Yeah.
And I like Aaron. I've had him on the friggin' show, for God's sake. But no. Anyway. What else did you read?
I read Children of the Atom.
Yes, you were not. Is this your last issue of Children of the Atom?
No.
What?
Listen, I just keep reading these X books. Okay, this book has like become a fascination
Mm-hmm.
to me.
That's
in
fair.
terms of what it's doing and how it sometimes feels like it's out of time. Like I've said that, and I don't mean like it's running out of time.
No.
I mean like it's like a week. It's like a month or so off.
Right.
It's written by Vida Ayala with art by Paco Medina.
Yes. Oh, Paco Medina.
Yeah. So this issue confirms that it's like none of these kids are mutants, and they're all just using alien technology to mimic the mutants. Which
really, that's what it is.
Yeah, which
they're not chimeras.
No, they had hinted at that before, but now they're like, nope, that's exactly what it is.
Oh.
Which is, for me, when you look at the, maybe I just have to go back and read it all the way through now that we have 5 issues. Like read it as though it's a trade.
Well, there's one more issue left.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay.
Series, so.
All right. Well, so I can read that last one and then I'll reread it, because it just feels like at the beginning, these kids keep trying to get onto Krakoa, acting like they can't do it.
Right.
But like,
actually, they know
if you're
they
a
can't.
Person, why would you? So I'm not sure what's up with that. And I know that we had heard that there were like some redos of certain things. So I don't know.
Right.
But that's what's established here. And if you had read one of the issues that tied into the Hellfire Gala, Carmen from this series is there.
Oh.
And she gets her invitation in this issue.
Oh. Yeah, this is just scheduling.
It's just like, I'm like, but I already knew that she was going, because it turns out, yes, she is a mutant. But they have a run-in with the X-Men.
Okay.
Like, they get to fight with them.
Is it the new X-Men though?
No, that's the other thing.
That's the indication. Then that's how you know.
So like in this, they like the bulk of the group gets caught, and then Daycrawler, because I refuse to use that other name, is like, who do I get to help them? He gets away.
Yeah.
And he's like, the Avengers, no. Fantastic Four, no. Obviously, I'll go get the X-Men. So he goes to Krakoan Embassy.
The treehouse?
No.
Ah!
It is a tree.
Yeah, but
not. Like, it's not that. And so he collects what he calls the X-Men, which is Jean Grey and Cyclops and Storm and Nightcrawler and Wolverine and Pixie. And you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and some of them are there just because of their...
like analogs being there.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously Cyclops and Marvel Girl or Jean Grey need to be there. Storm is there as well.
Nightcrawler has to be there.
But it's like, it's so funny hearing them call the X-Men in the same week that the X-Men #1 comes out with the team. So this book is fascinating to me. And so I'm gonna finish it up. And then I feel like at some point I got to sit down and maybe reread this as a whole and see how it reads like that.
Well, you know what's going to happen. Like once the trade's out, no one's going to remember how like anachronistic this book was.
I don't know. So like I'm looking forward to kind of like seeing it collected, and seeing how it reads that way, because the month to month has felt weird.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the best descriptor for it.
That's fair.
I will say in some of the final pages of this issue, the kids look like kids.
Oh, hey.
And I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
So shout out to that.
Totally.
Also, I really like Dick Storm's outfit.
It's a nice suit. I like it. Yeah. All right. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's cool. Cubenix says, gonna have to check out the video later. Just drop by to say hi. I thought Black Widow had a serious villain problem and was a few years late. Thank you very much for your thoughts. And thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah.
Silvery Cricket says, I don't know if I missed it, but what were your thoughts on Black Widow Black Knight #4?
We didn't talk about that, and I probably will talk about it the next time we come around to Black Knight coming out.
Yes. Yeah. No, we noticed that like afterwards. We're like, oh.
Yeah, I was so mad at myself.
Psycho Jet Black says, better movie, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, or Wonder Woman 84? Black Widow.
I haven't seen. Well, we saw Wonder Woman 84, and that was.
And it's just
kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Totally. And I haven't seen Captain Marvel in a while.
Since the theaters.
Yeah. So I have to say, I guess Black Widow, just because it's the freshest in my mind right now.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
But the lack of Sam Jackson is noticeable.
It's glaring. It's confusing. No,
it's not.
Russell Simmons. Hi, guys.
Hi.
What up?
Hello.
Joey Amorim says, hey, also, just because I rewatched the Harleen episode, best Tiffany episode, in my opinion.
Thank you.
What is your favorite back issues you guys have done on Black Label so far? Batman Damned. That was the best episode we've ever done on that.
Well, thank you. I do like the Harleen episode because like we had a great bunch of conversations about that. But I do like the Batman Damned episode because I felt like we were able to delve a little bit more into some of the artistic meaning there.
Absolutely.
Or potential.
Right. NB Yellow, Paladin, all Bendis needs is to do a Jaime Reyes series. Agreed, but he wouldn't get any money for doing that. You have to create a new Jaime Reyes character, and then he would do it. Scarlet Hottie, the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes trailer looks shockingly good. Every time I see it, I don't realize it's G.I. Joe until the title comes up. I mean, here's the thing. I also appreciated, or at least liked, the trailer enough. I think that as long as that's the only non-G.I. Joe spin-off G.I. Joe movie they make, like if Snake Eyes and then they make a G.I. Joe movie, it makes the most sense to me. Otherwise, like, no one's going to watch a Duke movie or a Cobra Commander Begins movie or a How Destro Got His Groove Back movie. So I'm good. Like, that's it. Snake Eyes, and then you move on. Make G.I. Joe. And the next one you do a crossover with Transformers, and then you move on from there. Anyway, Dead Earth was also a fun episode.
I know that is.
That's just a great book. I just like that book anyway. Doesn't matter if I
Superman Year One.
Superman Year One. That was a fun one too. Yeah. We did a lot of Black
We've done quite a few of the Black Label books. It's so funny how much when I think of Black Label, I do think of Batman Damned, and I do think of Harleen, but I always think of the Hill House books, and I'm like, we didn't cover any of those. I'm
right?
Like, Tiffany.
No, we have not covered any of this.
There's a whole other catalog of Black Label books that have nothing to do with Joe Hill.
But they should. I mean, what the hell? Well, DC and their labels, how they do.
They do.
Really quick, I guess I'll throw this out here because I looked through it. The Amazing Spider-Man Annual #2, written by Jed MacKay with Carla Pacheco, art by Eleonora Carlini and Juan Ferreira. I took a look at this. I recommended it last time, so I'll talk about it now. Spider-Man meets Star. It's exactly what you'd expect. There's no new ground is broken, but they are reestablishing or reminding you that Star was a thing and continues to be one. She's still an irredeemable jackass, and Spider-Man gets to be played for laughs, which is like this feels the most like this should not have been called Amazing Spider-Man Annual 2. It should have been called Marvel Team Up Spider-Man and Star. Like that's what this issue was.
Right. Okay.
So if you're looking for like a kind of contemporary classic Marvel team up issue, you might want to check it out.
Okay.
How about you?
I read Wonder Girl.
Good, because I was like, none of us read friggin' Wonder Girl.
I read Wonder Girl.
Now, is this Adriana Melo's first issue of Wonder Girl,
so let's talk about that?
Okay, please, because I'm confused.
Let us talk about that. This is Wonder Girl #2.
By Joel Jones?
By Joel Jones, and the name you just said.
Yes.
Because my brain immediately took that and threw it the hell away as I was prepping.
But the cover says Jones and Jordi Belair.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I didn't look up any information about this. So this is everything I say is going to be a whole pile
Neither did I.
Of hyperbole. It's Joel Jones and Adriana Melo on art.
Right.
Okay.
What?
So this issue continues the story of Yara. I really enjoy the fact that it delves. I'm not going to ruin this for anybody, by the way.
Good,
I'm not going to go into detail. I really enjoy the fact that we're seeing a bunch of different factions of Amazons in a way, because it's like you got Artemis doing one thing, and you got
Nubia.
Yeah, and you have like Hippolyta. She sent out another character who has gone by the name of Wonder Girl before, and does. Out as well.
Okay.
To join the hunt for this Yara Floor.
Right. Because they don't know who she is.
She's also a harbinger of something bad, and they got to take care of this.
Okay.
Right. So there's a whole bunch of people looking for Yara.
Mm-hmm.
Yara in this issue will be gifted something that will start her on her journey.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about the writing of this is that it really introduces me to mythology I am not familiar with.
Okay.
And so I really, really dig that quite a bit.
Yeah,
I'm just like, that's great. That I love like getting the most cursory glimpse.
Yes.
Because I know it's like a page or so for something. Some really beautiful character designs, especially one that we saw in like the last page of the previous issue.
Yeah.
With that that
serpent.
That I want to call her like a mermaid, but she's not.
Yes.
Like the siren like style character who they say is from Brazilian myth. And like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, give us like a little history.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit. And it totally works. Here's what's not working for me in this issue. I don't know if Joelle fell behind on deadline. I don't know if the plan was for Joelle to not draw this whole series.
Right.
But nothing against Adriana Mello at all. It's just they have a very significantly different art style.
Yes.
And it is at time jarring when we go from the Yara Flor storyline to the everything else storyline in how the art shifts.
Wow, that is a significant
Joelle,
shift. Yeah.
Adriana.
Okay.
Like, it's pretty...
I do like Mello's art.
So for me, I'm a Joelle Jones like fan of like the way like there's an effortlessness to the way she captures a body.
Yes.
And a body in action.
Yeah.
And a face and like facial like emotions.
Yes.
Where
the star of this book is Joelle Jones.
Right.
The reason to read it.
But then you get
it's a little bit more contemporary comics. I don't mind it. I think that's fine, but it's also just it's a different book. It's a completely different book.
I feel like
totally different feel.
So like it is a totally different feel, but so for me I was like, oh, and then when you see like this, at least this preview cover here that
gorgeous.
says that it's just
her
and her,
it seems like it's like kind of deceptive.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering if it was just like it was a need.
Right, it might have been. It usually is. That was one of my concerns. Like anytime we ever find like an artist who's amazing, typically it's because like they need the time. You know, like when you find out like Assad Ribic is doing a monthly book, and same with Yoel Jones, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, they definitely...
I'm like, don't. Just make a Black Label book. Like, just do a thing. Take the time you need. You know what I mean? It's why I was like, oh, D-Dubs is doing a 5-issue Beta Ray Bill book. He's probably worked on it for a year.
Yeah. And because like, I don't doubt that writing this and drawing this
is a feat.
I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
Because she has such a consistency to her art.
Yep.
I just was like really taken out of the moment when the art first shifted. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I still like the story.
Sure.
I still enjoy like, you know, not only creating this new character, but also shining a light on some other characters who have been part of the Wonder Woman mythos.
Okay, cool.
But maybe, you know, kind of peek in here and there, but like don't really, not lately at least, haven't really been like, hey, look at me, I'm part of this, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it's kind of fun. Artemis is still kind of a jerk,
of course,
because you know.
That's fine. That's good.
But we also get like Eros shows up, so it's like this combination of mythology coming into play, and I'm like, cool,
that's great.
So I'm gonna pick up the next one, but I was like, if you think you're getting it's 100% Joelle Jones, it's not 100% Joelle Jones in this issue, and I should probably look up why, or like at least what's to come.
Exactly.
Because I'm like,
Deb M, love the Black Widow episode. More. I laughed to the point of tears. Reminded me of when I worked at Wendy's. If you haven't already checked it out, we did a back issues on the first arc of Kelly Thompson's Wonder Woman run, or Black Widow run. And we talk about fast food, and it's just super funny, and I'm glad that it reached you guys. And Joey Amorim says, it's pronounced Amorim. Don't worry, Sal. It's a common issue. Okay. Sorry for the spam. Love you guys. Love you too, man. Thank you very much, Joey Amorim, for your help.
I hope you're saying it correctly even still.
He says Amorim.
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm saying it the way I'm going to say it from now on.
Oh, my God.
Axe says, hey, guys, first time here. Love from Mexico. Well, gracias for watching us. I used to be able to say that in Spanish, but I can't anymore. What else did you read? Anything, or do you want to just talk about X-Men?
Let's just talk about it.
All right, let's just talk about X-Men.
I did read something else, but we can't super talk about it. We actually had an opportunity to read an upcoming
Yes, we can talk about that
series. You can't do spoilers.
I won't give any spoilers.
Made sure to say that we can't give any spoilers.
Yeah.
Was it just number one?
Just number one.
Oh, okay. No, the number two was there as well. I read both.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read two. PDFs. I just read the one.
I read both of them. I was so enamored. I thought I read the first one so quickly that I thought it was just the continuation. I realized it was the second issue.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new series coming out from Image in the same vein of, hey, let's almost have a full sentence as a title.
It's how it works.
Ready for this? It's The Me You Love in the Dark. You Love in the Dark. Number one will be coming out, I believe, on August 4th. It's written by Scotty Young with art by Jorge Corona, who I believe worked on Middle West together. Like that team worked together there. And so now they're taking on a different style of story.
Yes. It's a 5-issue miniseries from Image Comics.
Yes. We can't spoil anything for you, but I devoured both issues.
I'm not surprised.
This is about
Wait for it, everybody.
This is about wait, is there like a thing I can just read?
Oh, like a little blurb?
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's like a blurb.
There's one right here. It
like
says
that I can safely say.
An artist.
An artist named Ro retreats from the grind of the city to an old house in a small town to find solace and inspiration without realizing the muse within is not what she expected. Listen, if you take part in any creative endeavors, and that could be anything.
Yeah.
That could be like, writing in a journal or drawing or just writing in general, creating music, videos, anything. Like, even if it's like scrapbooking or like even, I don't know, you've probably run into a creative block.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, if you have, that is what this character is experiencing.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of hit hard.
Right.
I was like, but then on top of it, to add this like other like mystical sort of element to it. Yeah, that I was like super into. I loved the look of this book. Not only does it feel like, obviously I've seen this art before because of Middle West, but it has like an artistic feel to it. And I know it's so stupid because it's art and every comic book panel you see has an artistic feel to it, but you know what I mean.
You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. But this also like gives it this like kind of grim, gritty, dark feel to it as well.
Oh, totally.
And it's just it's like the right amount of like creepy, where it's like, it's not scary. I want to put it as it's creepy.
Yes.
Although there is some stuff that happens in the second show. I was like, that's moving a little more towards the other way.
Okay.
But there's also a great sense of like sarcasm and like, I like Ro's character as well. I think she puts a lot of interesting pressure on herself.
That's fair. I'm
trying so hard not to
give it away.
Give anything away.
Yep.
But yeah, so I highly recommend you pick this up when it comes out.
Yep.
It'll be August 4th. The Me You Love in the Dark. It'll be just 5 issues. But again, like if you enjoy Scotty Young as a writer, which if you're reading Strange Academy, you probably do. But now just imagine he's writing a comic that's rated mature. Right. Instead.
Jorge Corona's art I've never seen before. I would like to see. I
showed you a little bit of Middle West, but
that's right. I'm Middle West. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like,
I don't see that very consistently. Like, you've shown me Middle West, but I don't see it in the wild. But the art is spectacular, beautiful, and haunting. Great stuff.
We try not to sell things, but like Sal's like sent this over to me. He's like, I think you might like this.
I think you're gonna like this. And I showed you one page on my phone. I'm like, look at what they sent us, and you're like, ooh.
So yeah, I read both issues.
Yeah.
Which means that now I get to just pick them up on physicals.
That's right. Yeah. B Black says, have Jonathan Hickman and Alex Ross ever worked together? X-Men #1 was great. Love the historic location of the base, still wish Tempo was on the team. It's fair. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But I would expect that to happen at some point.
That might break the comic book world.
That's right. Elizabeth Russell, I was also wondering if you guys had read any of the Nailbiter series by Joshua Williamson, and if so, what did you think of it?
It's funny because Sal just came to the conclusion that we apparently didn't have the first volume, even though I'm pretty convinced
you're pretty convinced we
had it somewhere. But if we don't have it in any of the locations it normally would be, either we never had it and I fabricated a memory, or it's lost.
Yeah, we probably have it somewhere, or we were lent it out or something.
I don't know. So no. Because that would have been for quite a while. So we just picked it up. So now I can start it because I'm not going to start in volume 2.
Yeah.
I've made those mistakes.
No, that's right.
In the past.
Yeah.
I feel like I can just read here. It's fine.
That's how I read Mortal Hulk. Rusky9110 says, move from the city to a small town. Horror vibes. Pledged is pledged.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah. Well, watch out for those woods. Listen, the woods are beautiful during the daytime.
That's right. Yeah, just don't stay there at night.
Once the sun starts going down, not only do you run the risk of running into a supernatural and or mythical terror, but also it becomes bear time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, certain hour bear time happens.
According to an old friend of mine.
Yeah. Dan V, I know y'all discussed Black Widow labor, but the latest episode of Loki was so good. Richard E. Grant is one of my favorite actors, and he got his moment. He sure did. Yeah. I'm not convinced he's gone.
No, neither am I.
Denial, first issue of X-Men felt like a quicker, cleaner version of Aaron's Dark Celestials arc. It was probably the sci-fi and the giant monster battles. No, this is nothing like
that. Felt like,
do not let this person who was a good guy. I know Denial, but skew your opinion about this, is nothing like Aaron's run. Aaron's run is
that moment in there when that thing showed up made it felt more like an Evangelion monster.
Yes, it did.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, I just loved this issue. Of course, it's X-Men #1, the first issue, the debut of the new X-Men, or the X-Men. I don't know what you want to call them, but they're the X-Men, and they're here, and you got to deal with it.
They're the X-Men, and yeah, no, they're great. I think this team, it's them getting together. I won't lie, there was part of me that completely forgot Cyclops was on the team.
Me too. I was like, oh, he's gonna see them off, and then it's like, no, he's on.
I was
team.
like, oh, okay, yeah.
I'm like, right.
He's not gonna not be there with his wife.
No,
Rogue and Gambit can make it work.
Yes, they can make it work, but Cyclops too is not as secure as Gambit is.
Gambit's like, I'm Gambit.
Yeah, I can handle it. You cannot, Scott. So yeah. But X-Men #1, Jerry Duggan, Pepe Larraz, Marte Gracia, some of the titans of the industry right now. Gracia is one of the best colorists. Pepe Larraz's art, second to none nowadays.
It looks so good. By the way, don't you love this cover? Because it's like, what actually happens in the book is on the cover.
Yeah.
But also dinosaurs.
What? Yeah. Just awesome.
I love those dinosaurs.
They're great.
They're not quite as good as the draw features.
No, those Jurassic Park dinosaurs are amazing. Just, yeah, they look so thrilled. Anyway.
Okay, sorry, let's get to the actual comic.
Yeah. But
we introduced a new villain.
New villain, and of course they're always petty, miserable, like jealous people. This is like
I felt bad for this person.
I did too.
This villain grows up, Kelvin Heng.
Yep.
Young. I don't know how to say this appropriately. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
He's a child genius.
Yeah.
He graduates at the age of 13, so as you can imagine, probably very different childhood than a lot of us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He makes $100 million very quickly, and his parents
steal it,
are just the worst.
Yep.
And they take it and they basically abandon him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, by the way, they're one of them's a Nobel Prize winner, the other one's a nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
Like, they're intelligent folks.
Yep.
But I guess
they just didn't trust him enough.
I think they didn't trust him, and I think they're a little jealous.
They were, yeah, of course.
I mean, like, would you two super smart people? I mean, there's a chance you would make a dummy, but you made a super smart kid.
Yep. Be happy.
But then his next, I feel bad.
There you go. And I was like, okay, now you get it.
He builds himself back up right after his complete destruction due to his parents leaving and stuff like that. Builds himself back up, and his target's gonna be Mars.
Yep, he's gonna colonize Mars, and then he's just all his crew is like looking on the monitors, and they see, not so much. And the sequence of events where we see that happen is just spectacular, because just like there it is, and then they're gone.
And he's just in his office.
Like it's just over.
Stewing in it.
So now we have a perfectly legitimized reason as to why this guy hates mutants. They took his birthright from him.
Yeah, he's already lost everything, and he's like, and now to lose it again. He also changed himself.
He did.
He did something, like he altered his body for Mars, he says.
Yes, so that he can be like stronger and cooler and red. But so then we see the new embassy. What do you want to call this?
This is the treehouse.
This is the treehouse.
It's called the treehouse.
It's called the treehouse. The treehouse is basically just like the new headquarters for the X-Men in the middle of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Urich is there in a really fun, like, integrated Marvel Universe kind of way to kind of get a quote. Ben, I'm so thrilled. I love Ben's interaction with Scott, because I'm like, yes, you hold his feet to the fire, Ben. Don't let these mutants just do whatever they want.
Well, he's also introducing like a problem that we all knew was going to crop up.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So, Ben interviews Scott. Scott treats it like a PR experience. Like, oh, I've got all kinds of good answers, quick answers for you. Here you go. And Ben immediately starts moving on, like, further and further. He's like, he asks him about like the designs for their suits and how.
Well, he's asking if Jumbo made them.
Yeah, Jumbo. He's like, of course he did. He's like, okay, so, and exactly when did he die? How did he die? Is he back? What's the story with that?
Right.
What's the story with all of it, actually?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go. How did he die again? You want to talk about it? Because he was definitely dead. Good night. And then he goes back to Krakoa, and he's like, why are we even doing this? What a stupid idea, talking to these humans. Meh.
No, he says he like talking to reporters. Like, he had a great time outside. He met because this treehouse area is open to the public. And there are like people wandering around. They want to take photos of Cyclops.
Who doesn't want to live in a treehouse? Oh,
I thought that was cute.
It is cute, but it's also like very carefully coordinated propaganda to convince you that they're just these cuddly, sweet, wonderful mutants. Oh, look at all the wonderful advancements that they've given us.
Do you not want to live in a treehouse at all?
I mean, like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But like, I'm just saying, I'm suspicious of people who hand me tree houses. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
You build a tree house. Now, part of the fun is building it.
And they did.
They built it.
They did build it.
Yeah. And now I get to hang out in it. Cool.
Well, they owned it. Emma bought it.
Good for them. I'm just saying, but don't say it's mine. Don't be like, oh, everyone gets to enjoy the treehouse. You built the treehouse.
They get to.
You're letting me hang out in your treehouse.
They get to enjoy the park around it, and trust me, New York needs more parks.
They do indeed. Yeah. Oh,
it's like the Justice League.
It is like the
Hall of Justice.
It is, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that these X-Men are superheroes. The idea is, or at the very least, like it's another one of those, like it's another piece of their little intricate puzzle where they're like, it's actually kind of hearkening back to the Astonishing X-Men run where Cyclops is like, we need to be superheroes. We got to put costumes on. We got to go out there. We got to put ourselves out there in front of the people because like their heroes are superheroes. We got to do that too.
Yeah.
And they're doing it again. And they're like, here's the X-Men. We go and do superhero adventures. And it's very much a superhero kind of comic, but in the Hickman era.
Right. Can we also talk about how like during that like Ben interview?
Yeah.
They drop like a little like Duggan drops like a little history. Duggan?
Yeah.
Is it Duggan?
It's Duggan.
Okay.
It could be Dugan, but it's probably Duggan.
Drops a little like history, but like not like I'm going to give you a history lesson. They give you a little bit more of it later on.
Yeah.
But it actually made me look it up.
Right.
Which I was like, I really appreciated that about like Seneca Village.
Oh yeah.
Because I think they call it. I can't remember what it's the treehouse, but it's also they mentioned something about calling it Seneca.
Yeah.
Something Seneca Park. I think it's called Seneca Park. And how it's like like Ben's like, oh, your history,
right?
And like Cyclops kind of makes a comment, but it's like it's kind of up to you, the reader,
to look that up and to learn more about
it. And I was like, that was really smart, and I really appreciated that because like I didn't know much about that. I don't.
No, me either.
I live right next to New York City. I
still
know,
didn't know.
I know like maybe a thimble's full of it's
history and
its growth. So like I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool. And if you get a chance, like there's like a couple of articles out there. One is like by like Central Park Conservancy where you can read about it.
Oh, cool. So we get a better view of what the treehouse is and what it does and how like we get a cross section. It's a whole thing. We're building the universe. We're setting up this thing.
Yeah.
So you can make your video game 3D levels of it, or you can imagine yourself there, and it's just
it also just looks cool.
Yeah. There's a glib interaction between Polaris and Cyclops where she says she has a confession, and he says, "Well, if you killed Wanda, please don't tell me."
Like, please don't.
I'm like, wow, Jesus. But anyway, Polaris, it was a joke. She was like, well, when I found out I was going to live in a tree, I almost shifted the poles of the earth so I wouldn't have to do that. So anyway, then there's an attack.
Well, it's such like this is such like a kind of like cliche.
Yeah.
But like not in
a great way.
Not in the like laser in the sky kind of cliche. Mm-mm. It's like, classic superhero thing. There's a fiery comet.
Yep. Rogue is Rogue. Rogue costume. No BS.
No.
Leather jacket, white hair. Rogue flying in the sky, super strong, and they get attacked by an angel.
Yeah,
there's no other way to put it. It's clearly that's exactly what they're going for.
It has like those vibes like that, and maybe a couple other things mixed in there. But...
Look at the color scheme.
Well, that would be an Evangelion.
Yeah,
that'd be an
true.
Ava.
Yeah.
But no, it gave me like angel vibes. I love that little like.
Oh, this is the zoom in. Yeah.
Of like. That's Rogue.
Yeah.
Because like it's like not a huge comet.
No.
She's like, it's not that big.
Right. And then it's like kaboom. Oh, it's much bigger than I thought it was.
It's much larger in person.
Yeah. Good stuff. And that just turns into a superhero fight. Like the X-Men are dispatched, they team up, they do their thing, and they come up with these like, solutions for dealing with it. And who is it? I think it's Sync comes up with the plan, or is it Sunfire who comes up with like the actual plan to defeat?
I think it's Sync.
I think you're right.
I think it's Sync, but Sunfire's like, oh my gosh, can we please do that?
Yeah.
Can we please
Let's do it. Let's do it. And they pull up some metal that they need.
From like a construction site nearby.
Yep.
Listen, and I thought about that for a minute. I was like, don't they have to replace all of that? And I was like, Emma's pockets are deep.
Yeah. Plus, they could also give them soul if they wanted to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they could also trade for any sort of Krakoan anything. Like, yeah.
So they got to fight this giant monster. What are they going to do? Well, they end up with their powers combined, creating a friggin' mech.
Yeah, it's dope.
And it's so like cute
It's adorable.
and silly.
Yep. I like its feet.
I liked its face and its big hands, like its oversized hands.
Yep. The whole thing is great.
Yep. The whole thing's great. So,
this little capsule robot.
Yep. It's capsule robot, and they just manipulate him to kick ass. They also I think Wolverine takes the final blow, but they
she needs a hole. She's like, just give me a hole and I'll take care of the rest.
Yep. So they lose the arm too. Oh, so they send Wolverine in, and Wolverine like kills the brain, and it just like collapses.
Yep.
And right at the nick of time, everybody else shows up to show you what a cohesive Marvel universe you have.
They also they phoned it to Jean.
Yeah.
They were like, we're on our way.
Right.
She's like, hopefully we'll have this taken care of by the time you get there.
But everybody clocks in.
Which I appreciate, because it wasn't like, we don't need your help.
No.
Like they were just like,
no, I know.
Hopefully it won't be too bad.
But they're showing you, the Avengers show up. Nice job, X-Men, the Fantastic Four. Oh, I gotta go. Good job. Spider-Man's there too, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
But he's like, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with this.
I'm gonna have to clock in on this one.
That's cute. But yeah, and I'm like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, look at the X-Men being in the Marvel Universe, and the Marvel Universe being like, good for you guys. All right. Thanks for not inviting us to any more orgies. And and so they have a big victory, and they're like, hooray.
And then they study this thing where it's like, it may have been a weapon.
Yeah, what is this thing?
Like, where'd it come from? What is it? So we got to learn where'd it come from.
Yeah.
We find out where it came from.
Right.
It came from Game World.
It came from Game World, which is like Mojo World, but it's
all about anything can be wagered on.
Yeah,
here.
which reminds me a lot of the friggin' the casino, or like whatever that was established in the Dan Slott Fantastic Four run.
I kind of remember that,
but it's not that, and I think it's not that deliberately because of what Slott did to Franklin
Slott
Richards.
wouldn't play ball. That's interesting.
Because Slott wanted to talk about what a big deal he was, and so yeah, Game World, all bets are closed. And we watch like these elite aliens being like, "Oh no!"
Did you also love the big eagle in a tuxedo? Because I loved the big eagle.
He's amazing. Like, Scree!
You see him later on too. He's just literally wearing a tux. I'm like, yes,
more alien birds. I guess. Anyway,
my friends.
Yeah, that's quite here. But yeah, so anyway, and like they established like a brain parasite that
it's manipulating a fungal parasite.
Yeah, that's of course plants and everything, but it's inhabiting the body of like a long lost astronaut, which reminded me very much of that episode of Star Trek.
Yes,
of the astronaut that the like aliens find and create like a nightmare realm of
based on a novel
of a real live shitty novel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where he got the idea of the gambling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Ben Urich wrote an article.
No, here it's like it says from the desk of. So I don't know if it's like okay. Is that like his like column?
Yeah, this is editorial about the X-Men, and it's basically just like, shut up, sit down. X-Men are here. Do I did the Mars thing rub me the wrong way? Kinda, but. That being said, let me do a little list of things that I had a problem with in the Marvel Universe. Like, let me shit on Bendis's run on everything.
I was gonna say, I really dug that he was like, the fact is, it's like you hear people talking about how it's like they're doing that so they can stage an invasion. He's like, which makes zero sense because the aliens that were there were already on Earth.
Yep.
So
no.
What?
But he also approaches it with like a Ben Urich level of cynicism and scrutiny, where he's like, why do they make this treehouse? A treehouse isn't threatening, but they're here. I really like that.
Yeah, you read that as cynical. Yeah. I read that as like,
it's not threatening. You shouldn't be worried. Like, hey, stop like looking at it with this negativity. No, I think it's like, don't be.
I think he's
welcome them, but don't be afraid.
No, I read that paragraph as like listen, you can totally have your concerns.
Yeah,
but like, trust me, if you go there and you see it, like,
it's not like
maybe
it'll change. Maybe
mind. Maybe it's not all like doom and gloom.
Yeah,
like maybe they really do mean good. Like that's how I read that.
That's fair. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. What the hell is this?
We're in New Jersey. We're in a particularly evil part of New Jersey.
Ha 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 ha. Everyone's got to make that joke.
It's the Pine Barrens.
Right.
Let's just go with that.
Sure.
So that's where the Jersey Devil lives.
Yeah. That's true.
Presumably they have a piece of the alien? Yeah, or the robot alien thing from the big fight. And like they're trying to combine genetics. Like,
right. More genetic whatever's. But the idea is like it's like they expose it to radiation. There's this person who's like the test subject, and they're basically like, what can kill it? Like, they're trying to evolutionize people.
This particular sequence made me think of like Alice Resident Evil movies. You know what I mean?
Where they were keep making her and
take that as you will. Good, bad, that's up to you.
Of Doomsday, when it's like we made a thing, we threw it out into the wilderness, they killed it, we brought it back, we made it stronger, sent it back, and now we've made a thing that can't be killed.
Yeah.
So it's just that.
It's like a lot of things that are in the X-Men right now,
That's
which
true.
I kind of like, because it's like we're seeing a lot of things that are like similar but not quite the same, and like it's like they're all going to coalesce at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, use a string board.
Right. We also are dealing with the Jumbo thing.
Yeah, we're like the idea of like how they're like, listen, I'll be able to take them down. I'll figure this out. But like, how are mutants conquering death? Like they've started to piece it together. And this attorney's back.
No, this bad attorney from New Mutants. Contact blurred. The space lawyer.
Overall, I dug the issue quite a bit. I really like the voice of everybody. Yep. I like the team up.
Super fun issue.
I like that we're starting off on a good foot. That we're not dealing with like how do we work together, because like they all came from Krakoa.
Yeah, they're
already. A
lot
of them have already been working together,
Exactly.
so I really appreciate that. I do also appreciate that they acknowledge that a couple of mutants wanted to be on the team and they almost were, like Tempo.
Yeah,
but Tempo helped to build the tree house. It's like a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing more from this
book.
Yeah.
B Black says, do you have any favorite mutant powers? Mine's always been Nightcrawler's ability to teleport.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The healing factor's kind of dope.
Yes.
I do like a healing factor.
Mm-hmm. Dan V's back to say, what if is also the show I'm looking forward to the most. I love the trailer. 10 episodes this year, followed by 10 next year, along with Loki season 2 is great. Cool. Yeah. I didn't know there was season 2 of Loki. I don't think that's a good idea, but whatever. What do I know? And Denial. Oh, nope. Sorry. I got to go back. We had a lot of people.
Which is very nice.
Which is great. I'm just saying, because it causes the scroll to... it's good. Landon Clark, been watching since middle school, and I'm off to college this fall, so happy to finally support. Well, congratulations, Landon. Thanks for being here, man. Lucky to have you, and thanks for watching for so long. Good luck in college.
Enjoy. Get as much as you can out of it, but like in a responsible, balanced way, and I mean that for real.
Right? B Black says, how do you feel about the new X-Men villains being businesses infringed upon? Too many similar motivations of or grounded non-mutant villain concept. That sounds like ripped from the headlines / like what you'd expect. That's a very X-Men villain, is that kind of thing.
Yes.
Denial says, Duggan killing it on his premiere X-Men issue, and Marauders has me looking back for his Infinity Wars event and halting it and hating on it even more. Because there's no way that his voice or vision at the wheel. Agreed. Yeah, his Infinity Wars is irredeemable, but does not make him a bad writer at all.
No,
I've liked a lot of his work, but Infinity Wars.
I know you were a little worried about this. Though.
I was, yeah, no, because of that, yeah. But yeah, no, Infinity Wars is a big pile of trash. Mr. Roberto says, Roberto. Mr. Roboto, I remember Skrulls living on Earth. Is that over? Yeah, it's over.
You can't, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. We'll never know. Mr. Roboto also says the evil part of New Jersey is not a joke, Sal. Okay.
No, it is. That's a big joke.
It's a big, stupid joke.
The evil part of New Jersey is me.
Yeah. Oh, no. Let's see.
Looks like you're going to talk about Spider-Man.
I am going to talk about Spider-Man, but I'm like, what the hell? What bullshit prelude did they put into this book to get to the friggin' actual credits page? It's written by Nick Spencer with art by Federico Vicentini, who is quickly becoming the Giuseppe Camuncoli of the Nick Spencer run. And I mean that to say, like, it was a fill-in artist that is now quickly becoming like the mainstay artist in the series, probably because they can actually produce on like a timetable. No complaints there, because I like Vicentini's art much more than Camuncoli's art, whose art I loathe. Amazing Spider-Man number 70, the start of the prelude or whatever to Sinister War. Do you remember all those other times when Spider-Man's villains teamed up and fought Spider-Man? Well, here it is again.
Happened.
Never happened. There isn't no.
It's never happened.
Here it is again.
Don't look it up.
But here it is again, and they're doing it again and again and again and again. And there's like a bunch of Sinister Sixes that are all teaming up to fight Spider-Man. Oh no. This is actually a really fun issue. I really enjoyed it. It seems like a culmination of a lot of Spencer's plot threads, but tidying it up in a fun way. It's also using characters that like I would be concerned or intimidated about using because of how much exposure they've gotten. Like Doc Ock is putting together another Sinister Six, and it's the original Sinister Six. He's getting Kraven's clone finally for like the first time ever in a long time. We're getting like a almost real Sinister Six. Kraven's finally on it instead of like a placeholder like Hobby or Gog. But they go on and get Lizard. They use that like splitter machine that makes Spider-Man and Peter Parker separate. They do it with Lizard, so now Kirk Connors is finally cured of the Lizard. His family's lizards too, so what are you going to do? Spider-Man gets involved. Mary Jane's got her own story arc where like she knows that Carly Cooper is missing, so she goes to meet with like all these people who are part of their like I love a superhero fan club and ask about Carly. Nobody knows. What Mary Jane does not realize is that Carly Cooper is cooped up in a prison by Kindred with Harry Osborn, but I did.
Okay.
But Harry, of course, there's Kindred's Harry, there's this Harry, there's a corpse Harry, which says to me clones, and I've been saying it forever, so don't let any other comic book YouTuber tell you that they told you first. I did. That Kindred was Harry, it's a spirit, that Harry died in Spectacular 200, and that the Harry that they brought back in One More Day was a clone, and that this is all clones. And I'll be okay with that, because that actually ties in with everything and works for me. But Carly won't tell Harry because, she's like, I found your corpse, but she won't tell him because that would advance the plot way too much for an Nick Spencer book. But things are coalescing. Kindred is working with Octavius, and he's got things.
And he's looking great.
He is looking great. I mean, like, this is actually, Kindred.
No, he does look great.
He does look great.
But
but he's a gross, like, centipede mummy. Kindred is a stupid design, and I hate him, and I hate those big stupid bugs. But like, whatever, like he looks like a Spider-Man villain. What are you gonna do? They're bringing Mysterio in on the Sinister Six, but like, listen, there's more. There's so much more. There's so many more things. There's the group of mercenaries that had with Chance and like the floating casino, which coincidentally ends up being 6 people. There's the Sinister Six with 6 of them. There's the group of 6 characters from the bar that's like the Sinister Syndicate, but that's only 5 because the Syndicate had 5. There's another Sinister Six with Stegron and Rhino as the animals from the Kraven arc, and there's also the Tarantula's there.
Everybody watch out.
Yep, Spider-Man fought Tarantula.
You'll be stung.
Yeah.
You definitely won't be stabbed through the chest.
No. Yeah. Well, he'll stab you in the chest, and it's just a stun. It doesn't kill you.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
But there's also the team of like all female supervillains that's fun and cool, and so there's 6 of them too. And and once you see this big final splash page, you're like, oh wow, like Spencer was building this all up the whole time. That's kind of fun. Was it worth it? Absolutely not. But like,
who knows? You might enjoy it.
No, I know. I mean, like, reading all that wasn't, but like, this might be fun. And if you do read it all, you'll be like, oh, that seems. You'll go from, oh, that's convenient, to like, oh no, that actually it was all earned.
But yeah,
he spent like 2 years setting all this up, and now it's finally here to watch all those Spider-Man's villains all fight Spider-Man.
And there may be some folk out there who are just like, that's a reward. That's,
it is
rewarding.
I want it to be
they were in for like the long haul, and like, if you stuck around, this is what you're getting.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, my genuine hope is that every Spider-Man issue I read is enjoyable and fun. And I think the Sinister War is like, I think it's coordinated, and I think it's deliberate, and I think it's trying to cash in on what Sony's doing. But like, that being said, you know what? That seems like a fun idea. And like, as long as Peter Parker emerges on top, which of course he won't because of what the previews are saying about where the book is going after Spencer leaves. But you know what? Like, as long as we don't see another goddamn Web Warriors book, like, I'm down.
Okay.
It seems like fun, honestly. Like, this issue was a lot of fun to read. The story is, whatever. It's one of those things. Like, people are gonna think because of how quickly I went through the story and how blasé I was about the details that I hate it. The reality is, it's like, if you've read 1,000 comic books, some of these things are going to keep cropping up, and you're going to be a little bit like, oh, okay, well, I've seen that before. Doesn't mean you didn't enjoy it. It just means like, oh, well, I've seen it before. And like, I kind of wish that I would be surprised. And there's some people who read comics that are like in their 40s and 50s who are like, nothing interests me. Nothing surprises me. I've never been. I'm constantly surprised and impressed by new comic books, and even runs on old characters. like I'm consistently surprised and I'm consistently impressed by like art. They released this big page of all the Spider-Man artists over the past 70 years, and there are a lot of them that I enjoy, and the mainstays on the Amazing books, I like them less as we get to the newer eras. And I thought to myself, oh no, am I becoming like an old bitter person who doesn't like modern comic book art? But the reality is I like comic book art more now consistently than I did when I was a kid.
Okay.
I liked 3 artists when I was a child, and they were the coolest, like Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane, and Mark Bagley. Yeah. And it's like, I haven't seen Eric Larson draw anything I wanted to see for the last 20 years. I haven't seen Todd McFarlane draw anything in 25 years. And Mark Bagley continues to impress because he also never stopped. Neither did Eric Larson, but I'm just saying. But you see like that book that has a long title that we like from Image, like that art is beautiful and incredible.
Yes.
Dan Mora, D-Dubs, Chichetto. There's so many.
Larraz.
Yeah, Pepe Larraz. Everyone drawing all the X-Men books. Like there's so many new amazing artists and writers. Who'd have thought that Chip Zdarsky would turn out to be such a delight?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that? I don't think anybody reading his books, but you know what? It took me a couple of friggin' books to realize that. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, like, there is new shit out there that I love, and I like it disproportionately higher than I like some of the older stuff. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't like get tiring to read like some Spider-Man stuff where it's like, Jesus, what, you can't innovate. But this issue does like kind of give me hope for the future. It's just, but I've read like 60 disappointing issues of Spider-Man, and it's like, the law of averages dictates that like some of them are going to be fun, and I hope the Sinister War is cool. That means we're going to lose power, but whatever.
Well, quick, we got to talk about Black Widow.
I know, but
and you got to talk about Psychopirate.
Oh yeah, Radium Theater Productions. Did you enjoy Psychopirate and Infinite Frontier? Yeah, I think it's great. Great new direction for that character that no one wants to use anyway, so why not? And Mr. Roboto, with Miles Morales Spider-Man clones, can we get Spider Force? No more spiders, please. Just stop diminishing my favorite character. Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
You talking about Black Widow now?
Yes.
Black Widow is a movie that came out literally this weekend, and we saw it because we rented it on our TV.
Yeah, which really worked out because it was late.
It was late.
I got to watch most of the movie with a cat in my lap.
Right? We got to pause it so I could pee, and I didn't miss a thing.
I'm not saying I don't like going to the theater, but this just worked out really well.
It worked out great, and there were 4 of us, so the movie only really ended up being about $4.80.
Yeah.
So we all save money, and by that I mean I didn't really save any money because nobody paid me for it. But like we still, I'm going to write it off because it was a business expense. We're talking about it now.
What?
So really quick because the movie is new, I don't want to spoil everything because everybody in the chat's already probably done it. But I will say before we get into spoilers, overall quick thoughts. If you were thinking on, or if you were on the fence about Black Widow, should you go see it?
Yes, I will say though, be prepared. It is a superhero movie, but like some of the like MCU movies have like more of like a genre feel to it, and this definitely has a spy genre like feel to it. So if you like spy films, yeah, definitely go watch this.
Yeah. I liked it, and I think that it was a nice movie that was actually ended up being like kind of more self-contained and more of like a solo movie than most Marvel movies have been in a long time. So I would definitely recommend it. I mean, obviously you're gonna go see it, so like I would just say, I liked it.
Yeah.
Now let's get into spoilers.
Ever Anderson was in this. What? Do you know who Ever Anderson is?
No.
That's Mila Jovovich's daughter.
Oh. That's funny.
She plays young Natasha. That's why she had like the lips and the eyes.
Oh my God.
On.
Yeah. She looks just like her. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good for her. I hope that she was actually really good in this movie.
She's going to be in a couple of things, but yeah, she goes by Ever Anderson because
separating herself from her mom.
But it's also Wes Anderson's.
Oh, wait, no, what?
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul
Sorry.
W.S.
I always do that wrong. Leave me alone. It's a W and an S and then an Anderson. My brain just goes to that.
You're right.
Yeah, but like she goes by Anderson.
Yeah. Ms. Anderson.
Yeah, thank you. I knew it was coming. Anyway.
I gotta say, just off the top of my head, Kate Shortland's direction was great.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where it's like, I understand, they're like, well, making a female movie, let's get a female director, all that stuff. But like, legitimately, I've never seen anything they've produced. Most of them have been shorts. They've never made a movie before, except for like Lore and Berlin Syndrome. And those are 5 years apart and 5 years from now, like in the past. This is really well directed. We got some great acting. We got what's funny is, you look it up. Marvel movies are not the action sequences. They're not made by directors.
Mhm.
They are made in-house by the studio ahead of time by the VFX department.
Mhm.
So like if you were like, this sequence was kind of weird and blame the director, you can't. They're literally made before the movie comes out. Like they're literally made before they start shooting the movie. That's usually why people like Hot Fuzz, Edgar Wright,
yeah.
dropped out of Ant-Man, and why Patty Jenkins had such a problem with Thor: The Dark World, and I think someone else dropped out of Derek Robertson dropped out of Doctor Strange 2. Like most of the time, apparently the Marvel studio people say like, oh, by the way, don't worry about the action sequences; they're already done.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Because action sequences can be really creative and awesome, but the action sequences actually in this movie are pretty dope.
Yeah, no, they are.
They also don't stop. I don't know about you, but it felt like a breakneck pace for me.
It did. I thought I had a decent enough amount of
when we get those breaks,
quiet moments, they were welcome.
Yeah, they were,
and I thought well paced.
Yes, because this was very much people call it a James Bond movie. It is not at all. This is like a Jason Bourne kind of
yeah, no, it's not
like a modern spy movie.
If you're gonna say Bond, that has to be the modern Bond,
yes.
which I'm less familiar with. So, but if you're thinking of the larger catalog of James Bond, I'd say no.
No, I wish it were, but
no, I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's a little more action oriented.
It's more just I want more old Bond movies.
Sure,
but yes, but I just want to say she did a great job. She got some really great performances out of people who have done Russian accents before and to lesser success. She got some really great emotive moments and told a compelling story.
Yep.
So that, kudos to you. I hate Ray Winstone. I hate him.
I don't know him from anything.
Yes, you do. He's Beowulf in that CG nonsense movie.
I never saw that.
He's also Jar Jar Binks in King of the Crystal Skull. Jonesy, I'm the worst character in this movie somehow.
I do know.
In a cavalcade of crap.
That's not his fault.
Yeah, but I've seen him in a number of movies.
What did you think of him in this?
I thought he was great.
Okay,
that's the thing is that I thought he was a terrific villain, and he's the real villain. And the people are like, "Oh, Taskmaster." He's not the villain. They are not the villain. Taskmaster's not the villain. The villain is Ray Winstone as Dreykov. That's the villain.
Yeah.
Taskmaster is a tool. Is a weapon. It's like Loki's scepter being. Loki's scepter was a crappy villain in that movie. Yeah, it's not a character. Neither was Taskmaster. We'll get into Taskmaster.
Yeah.
But everybody did a great job. I like David Harbour. I like Rachel Weisz. I was surprised because I've seen her in Enemy at the Gates, and
Yeah, I'm not always she's. Depends.
It really depends. But she's great usually.
It was nice to see David Harbour.
Yeah,
yay for him.
He's great.
Yeah.
I want to see him again. I want to see more Red Guardian. ScarJo. I feel like she kind of was a little. I was worried because a Black Widow movie, you'd expect chock full of cameos. You expect a whole bunch of overshadowing characters, and I think she did get a little bit overshadowed in this movie.
I don't know,
because I feel like the whole plot about her looking for redemption for the collateral damage of executing her tormentor, great idea, but I feel like it kind of came a little too. I found out about that too late in the movie for me to be. This is the emotional core of the movie. I thought it was the more emotional core was her feeling oh, I have a family, and it was more about Yelena getting her justice than it was about Natasha getting her justice. But then they remembered, and so the end of the movie is about Natasha. You know what I mean?
I guess I felt like it was you're looking at a Black Widow who primarily had been used to either working as a spy under the thumb of
SHIELD or the KGB.
Yeah, the KGB, and then defecting to SHIELD, and at least working with someone like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But not really having that community, that connection like she did with the Avengers. And we've set it up with they just broke up.
Exactly. It's a great time.
But so typically she would go on the run and she'd be fine with it. But I feel like we're coming into a Black Widow here who's finding she's not okay with it.
Yes. Normally she's yeah, I can be on my own.
Yeah. And so while the ending of the movie might be about that redemption or that closing out that chapter of her life, which we've seen historically throughout her role there, she's got red in her ledger, that kind of thing.
Yes,
she wants to clean things up as she goes. I think it's also a desire to find herself, because for the first time maybe in a while she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Right, for the first time she's alone again.
That's how I saw this, is she kind of leapt at the opportunity
Yeah.
to do anything else or
Right.
rekindle with something else.
That's fair.
Even if like she didn't necessarily want it, there's something drawing her to it because
that's a great point, and it's a really terrific like arc for her that I like. And I think that's why it's like that, because that's how it ends. Is she's like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna like family's worth fighting for.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that. I loved. I was really worried about Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova because of her accent in the first trailer I ever saw. And I said this on another show. I have a tinfoil hat theory about this. I think that over the last year and a half, they re-recorded all the audio. I think that they like sent everyone back to do.
That's a little bit tinfoily, my friend.
I think that I think they redid the Russian accents. I think that they're because they're better than they were in the first trailer.
Well, is it possible that from the first trailer they used a different take?
Oh yeah, easily, which they usually do.
You know,
I'm thinking of Crystal Skull again, where he says part-time wrong, and it's no, they absolutely could have, but.
Like obviously, like they've got coaches there, you know what I mean? They could have had one take. They're like, use that take, right? Do the next take, and that'll be.
I'm just saying that, like overall, I was impressed that like no one really graded on me when it came to the Russian accents, and I was surprised / impressed that like David Harbour, they set up in the beginning, he's just sounds like David Harbour, but then he's like Russian later, like his real accent is the Russian thing.
Yeah,
I'm really shocked they didn't have him go like, to make Yelena feel better, just adopt the voice of what he sounded like before so he wouldn't have to keep doing it.
Right.
And I'm kind of like impressed they didn't go that shorthand.
I feel like David Harbour would be like, I'm down.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'll do the voice. I got to sound like me in the Stranger Things. Or if we ever do Hellboy 2. We're never doing Hellboy 2.
Which is funny because he worked with Mila Jovovich in Hellboy.
Yes, and then he got to work with her daughter in Black Widow. That's kind of fun. That's a fun little 6 degrees of separation.
I guess.
Yeah, no. But overall, those are some standouts. Rachel Weisz did a nice job too. I for a movie called Black Widow, there's a lot of Black Widows in this movie.
Yes, well, because it's like the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
Except
is like
unless like there's going to be like 20 of them.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, I like that idea. If you think about it, like if you're on the outside of this,
you
hear like, oh, Widow's coming.
Black Widow's coming. Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of them.
But
it's like, why you can never stop them.
Right. Like I killed Black Widow. Oh no.
No, you didn't. Black Widow still lives.
Exactly. And that's fine. That's a great idea. I expected that. That's in the comics. It works. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But it was fun. It was like, it's a movie called Black Widow. And like, obviously it's going to be called Black Widow, but also like thematically it works because it isn't just because it's about the Black Widow program. Mm-hmm. It stars at least 3 Black Widows.
Yeah.
Like it is about Black Widow.
Yep.
And not just the one that we call Black Widow. It's about the concept of being Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Clever. Even if it's like accidental.
Yeah.
or incidental, I might say. But yeah, as far as acting goes, there was no real weak points. Even the children.
Yeah, the children were great.
Were great too.
They were
that's
really,
so hard
really great.
That's so hard to accomplish.
I really,
very nice.
I really enjoyed that. Like those sequences, I enjoyed. I really just enjoyed all of it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I didn't notice. It wasn't like I was like, well, you want to notice, but like I noticed that like, it was a very female heavy cast, which I only noticed after watching it, and I appreciate how well balanced it was. Like it wasn't doing it to prove a point. It did it because that's what the story happened to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, even if there was an agenda, which I doubt or don't care, I couldn't care less about.
I think it just has to do with the subject matter.
It's just like, it's about these women. And like, that's cool. And like Red Guardian didn't get sidetracked or like he got MCU'd, but like that's MCU. That's not Black Widow. Like Red Guardian is Red Guardian through and through, and he didn't get diminished.
No,
it wasn't like he was.
And he wears his outfit for most of the movie.
He really does, and that's so cool.
Like 50% of the movie, he's in that.
He puts it on like for no good reason, just at dinner. He's like, "I'm just gonna put it on." He's like, yeah. And I'm like, good for you. We watched that video where like you go to David Harbour's house and like, he shows off his collections and he has an original copy of the first appearance of Red Guardian.
Yeah.
And like when he shows it off, this video came out like 2 years ago. He's like, hey, there's Red Guardian. Oh boy. Like he's so thrilled to be in it.
I feel so bad because it's like, first of all, Hellboy bombed, right?
Big time.
Then this movie got
delayed by a year.
Delayed. He's like, could anyone please just acknowledge that I'm in
that I'm in one of these big freaking things. Come on. I mean, like, you're in Stranger Things, and it's not like you're not coming back. But
Right.
but that's gonna take forever, and it's probably not gonna be great. But yeah. And I remember saying before the movie came out, I'm like, David Harbour, Red Guardian, make a Winter Guard movie, you cowards. Having seen it, make that Winter Guard movie.
You just want a bear man.
We didn't get
that. Sal at the end of the movie, he's like, I'm a little disappointed there wasn't a bear man. I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
You thought you were getting a bear man.
Well, he was in it. Ursa Major, and that's the arm wrestling.
Right, but
yeah, but he wasn't a bear.
So I'm sorry. In the Black Widow movie, you thought they were like, and also a bear man, because
would have been a better post-credit scene.
That would be like the chef, the Meowscular chef showing up in the Monster Hunter for like everyone else. Which was the best
moment in the
Monster Hunter movie. Wait, what?
Yeah. If you can put Nick Fury on a spaceship,
yeah, no,
at the end of a Spider-Man,
I hear you. It would have been very out of left field. It wasn't even like
Red Guardian goes into a cabin in the woods, and he's just like, "Hey, come on, buddy," and he's like, "Drink, finally, Das Vidania." Like that's the post-credit scene. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, like, or it could just be about the movie we just saw.
Yeah, but like, none of the post-credits are about that.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah, but this post-credit was a freaking teaser for Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, apparently I found out Yelena Belova's Black Widow will be in every episode of the Hawkeye show.
That's dope.
Yeah. I was like, what?
That's dope.
I was a little disappointed at first because I'm like, I want to see Haley Steinfeld be Hawkeye, yay. But also, she's such a good, compelling, fun Black Widow that I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's going to be like a really like... I look forward to seeing the dynamic there.
Exactly.
I read a little bit of an article today, because that's about as much brain
that's all the work that you need to do. Yeah, it's a comic movie.
And like, there was like a little bit of criticism at this, and at first I was like, what? And then I looked at it subjectively initially, and then I looked at it objectively, and I was like, oh. So it was the idea that like Black Widow is like, they enjoyed the story, but it's too late to try to give her something to do. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that's who her character is. That they're just exploring that. I'm like, right. And if you don't know anything about comics, you don't know that. And this came out of nowhere.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, whoops.
Yeah. A lot of people talk about how like this movie should have come out 10 years ago. And it's
right.
Like,
I mean, like, but it doesn't necessarily, most of the movies though were building towards
the phase,
whatever to end
Thanos.
Yeah, and like, so like that would have felt like
this would not have been.
I think people would have been more like, I don't understand where this fits in.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's not like this movie is in no way, and that's I think why it feels like such a self-contained picture.
Right.
Because it is like a not.
But then
phase, whatever.
When you think about it, like in terms of the like watching it in a current day situation, like we're watching it now, and it's taking place however many years ago, because I didn't want to think about that.
Right. 6 years ago.
Okay. That it's like, oh, this feels weird for people who don't know Black Widow's history. Like, we're just getting to see it. We get to see the Red Room. We get to see like,
her torment. We get to see whatever Dostoevsky.
Yeah, that's who it was. Let's just go with that. Like we get to see that. Cool. If you don't know her from the comics, you're like, why? Oh, they're just trying to make something up. And
right. It's like, no, it's all in there. Yeah.
Now, if you fast forward to the future,
right,
and you're someone just watching the Marvel movies, you watch that whenever you want.
Exactly.
And now it fits in.
You can throw that on any time, or you can watch it in sequence. Just don't watch the post credits.
I had that thought. I was like, damn.
Yeah. No, like there's a lot of coordination and cleverness in this movie that's like really kind of like under the surface.
Yeah.
Just in terms of its like execution. I mean, they had time to really execute it properly because of all the delays, but like overall, it's kind of like a really interesting snapshot. It's why it's another reason why it's one of my favorites versus like Captain Marvel.
Sure. And by the way, I literally, when I say I read this article, I read like that first paragraph. I was at work. I got a push notification.
Right. I got work to do
real quick, and I couldn't read the whole article. So I'm not saying I agree with the article. I'm agreeing with the concept that a non-comic book reader might question why all of a sudden they're developing this character.
Right, exactly.
When it's just like, no, it's just something
she's dead.
Like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it already exists.
Yes.
And like people may not know that.
Right.
Like non-comic book readers may not know that. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting thought.
Exactly.
That's
true. That's true.
The vest.
The vest was so great. It was a cute little character moment, and I like it. And I hope we see we can get more callbacks to it.
Yeah, I liked I
forgot about that vest when it was actually in the other stuff. I'm like, that was cool.
When she put it on, I remembered it immediately because, and I also love the fact that like she was blonde in those movies. when
when
she's first like hiding out, she's got the blonde hair dye.
Yeah.
She was gonna go blonde, and then she continues with this adventure, and then does that anyway.
Yeah.
When she put it on, I recognized it. I was like, oh yeah, that is her outfit.
That is her vest. Yeah.
I like their sibling interaction.
Yes, me too.
I really enjoyed that.
Yep. I was worried because of the trailer that Pugh's Russian accent sucked in the trailer that I saw. Movie, not so bad. Because at first I'm like, oh, well, she'll just Scarlett Johansson it and be like, oh, well, now that I'm in America, I'll try to sound more American. And she probably will anyway, but she does a nice job. No complaints. She's emotive, fun, different, very different, not doing the same thing. Yeah. So it's great. Everybody did a great job. I'm very thrilled with this movie overall. I guess we'll talk about Taskmaster because people all want to talk about Taskmaster.
Sure.
So we'll address Taskmaster.
Let's address Taskmaster.
I like Taskmaster as a costume. I think Taskmaster he's a fun design. He has neat power set. I have zero favorite Taskmaster stories. I have, the most minuscule desire to own a Taskmaster action figure. But outside of that, it's like, do I understand why comic book fans are outraged that Taskmaster is not a Bronx-born, supervillain with a hilarious voice and like attitude? I get it, because you want your character legitimized on the screen as you remember them. It's the same case with everybody. I mean, like, there are people who will punch me in the stomach for saying that, like, Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man, and then I dare say I'm a Spider-Man fan. And it's like, I get your frustration and your your outrage, but Taskmaster, as he appears in the comics, is not thematically relevant to this movie.
No, and they could have just made up a character,
but no one would have accepted that character.
No, and so people would have still been upset about that. They were gonna upset somebody, no matter what they did.
So why not throw Taskmaster?
They could have just picked a different villain.
Yes.
They
could have.
But like, the theming for the movie was about family.
Yeah, and about pretending,
and also like what you would do to get out, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and about being dominated. Taskmaster's true identity is her having been subjugated and dominated by the forces in her life, and now she's a puppet. Being used just like the widows are. Yeah,
and so it's like it is in theme while it's not the same character. And honestly, when I first saw the costume kind of in action, I almost made a joke.
You're like, wouldn't it be funny?
No. I was like, man, Taskmaster, more like, Daft Master, because I was like, it's like a Daft Punk Taskmaster, like hybrid.
Yeah.
But I kind of got used to it. I mean,
yeah, I'm not thrilled with it, but like the other thing was, if they ever wanted to continue Taskmaster in any regard, Phase 2 Taskmaster suit will look more like the comic book.
Yeah.
They'll fix it, and you could do that. Like, you could have this Taskmaster continue as a female version of your Taskmaster.
Or like, the fact is, it's like, much like the widows, someone else could take up the moniker of the Taskmaster.
Yeah. I mean, legitimately, it's just a suit.
It is just a suit. It was a technology integration with a suit.
Yeah.
So like, someone else could either take that technology and like alter it.
Right. Like, wouldn't it be fun if like Justin Hammer knew somebody at the
You're never
World's
gonna
Fair?
Justin Hammer, it's over.
No,
sorry.
No, it's not. Justin Hammer's coming back. He is coming back.
Sure.
They will use him. But this one is like, I'm telling you, like, it's a carefully constructed like movie that is built to hold your attention.
Yeah.
And that's kind of impressive, especially for like an early director.
Yeah.
And for them to have such a strong showing, like, that's great.
I'll be honest, like, I don't know if it was because, again, we're still in spoiler territory here. I don't know if it was because I was tired or what, but like, when we like reveal where the Red Room is, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why did I think about that? That's like a big part of everything in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Things could be in the sky.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Well, I just was like, okay. I mean, does it need to be a huge friggin' CG thing in the sky?
I liked it.
It's cool. It was a neat base. I kind of wished it was like a retrofitted helicarrier or something like that. That was like,
Fury would have eyes on that somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you got to build from the ground up there. You can't trust Shield won't have some backdoor something into whatever.
That's true.
Also, like, that said, wouldn't like any sort of thing up there be able to see where that was?
Yes.
Or not. I mean, they did say they were like blocking all kinds of things.
Yeah, they had to be. I mean, still. All right. But otherwise, I mean, I definitely recommend it. I think it's cool and it was well made, and I'm happy that it like turned out that way.
No, for sure. And like we said, like the action's great because it is like listen, I love over the top action that we get from some of the other films, like flying around, shooting lasers, you know what I mean? Like Thor and lightning and you know what I mean? Like magic. I love that. But there is something also about, even if it is CG, but like more like hand-to-hand fighting, you know, that sort of choreography, regardless of real or not. Like there's something really fun about seeing that. It gives you that like sensation of like, you know, if I worked maybe one day I might be able to do one thing, you know, like there's just something cool. Like it's fun to see. It also just kind of reminds you that there is a street level, even if they end up in the sky,
even if they're in a friggin' sky base made of CG.
You know what I mean? Like there is like a street level like element to the Marvel like universe that we don't always get to see on like the silver screen. We can see more in the shows, but not there. So I was like, that's really fun. And honestly, if you just like character interactions, you're gonna get a lot of it. A lot of angry, like uncomfortable Thanksgiving dinner vibe. If you were also trained assassins.
It's true.
And spies.
I'm sure that they'll bring up some other things so we can just put the button on it. But Cosmic Reader says, I'm glad that the films are actually acknowledging the TV shows. It makes Disney Plus shows more important, or as important as they say it is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, like, obviously, like, a lot of us wish that the Netflix shows could have been part of everything. But like having that, it just feels good.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching those shows, you're like, ooh, I know what's up.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're like, who's this chick?
Right.
What is Elaine from Seinfeld doing here?
Yeah. Joey, what was it? Amorim says, my favorite character moment was Alexi singing American Pie with Elena. Almost had me clamming up before it got exploded Aquaman style. Agreed. Yes. It was a nice moment. Radium Theater Production, Sal, you're a king going off like this. Preach. Thanks, man. Mr. Roboto, the Taskmaster fan, runs deep. So that's true. Apparently they do. Listen, I know. I mean, he's a cool design. I think he's a dope character. Did I want to have a Bronxian dude go like, come on? Yeah. Did we get that? No. But does it diminish the movie? No. End of story. Memento Mori. It's a lame change that won't be acknowledged if someone wants to use Taskmaster later in the MCU. I agree with that, except for the lame part. Yeah. Crackham reacts. Hey, Tiff. Hey, Sal. Loving your passion today or lately. Keep it up and want to see Sal Unleashed. Well, I appreciate it.
We're going to get that Star Wars-esque figure.
Yes. Sal Unleashed. Yeah. My clothes are like all like flowy.
Yeah. There's a wind coming from
nowhere,
from some unseen place.
Yeah. Mr. Giggles growing up in a Russian neighborhood, the Russian dark humor spot on.
Nice. Is it? Okay, cool.
Because it did feel like everyone's just like, yeah, well, you know, life is meaningless.
I really appreciate it. I like that kind of humor.
Right?
So like that really like struck a chord. I was like, nice.
All right, let's recommend some comic books that we think that you should check out that are coming out this week / tomorrow or Wednesday.
Let us do that.
Check these out. Obviously, Joker #5 is coming out, the Secret Jim Gordon book. Now that it's kind of gone off the rails, hopefully, you know, it continues to be about Gordon.
It's still like, listen, it's still one of those like, it's a $6 comic book, but it's 40 pages because you also have that punchline.
Yes, you did get that punchline story.
The punchline story as well, just as a heads up if you're looking at that sticker shock.
Yes,
a little bit.
Batman the Detective #4, Part 4 is coming out of 6, so check that out. It's written by Tom Taylor with art by, oh God, what? There's a different artist on this. Sandra Hope.
That's what it says.
Okay. I've been enjoying this almost exclusively because Andy Kubert's been drawing it.
But it also says like artist.
Yeah, artist, variant cover artist. So maybe it
says Kubert Hope.
Yeah, so maybe they're doing like a flashback or something.
Yeah, maybe they're working together.
You know what? They had plenty of time. This is like in and out of continuity. Who cares? So like I'm sure it's coordinated. It's a good looking book. Infinite Frontier #2 from Josh Williamson and Zermanico. It's a great series, and if you want to know what the hell's happening in DC, you should definitely be reading this. Spider-Man Spider Shadow from Chip Zdarsky and Pascal Ferry. I think it's the last. The penultimate issue. There's one more issue left. Mm-hmm. You can't guess where the hell this series is going. It's so fun.
There's a lot of Batman coming out next week. This week or tomorrow.
Urban Legends from Marguerite Bennett. Chip Zdarsky and Matthew Rosenberg are all working on this series, this anthology series. $8, but you get like 64 pages of comic.
Nice.
It's cool. You get more Grifter. Who doesn't want more Grifter?
I hope Chip writes the Grifter story.
He does not. It's I think it's Rosenberg.
I was gonna say I hope that just because you'd be like, damn it.
Yeah. Sinister War begins with Nick Spencer with art by Mark Bagley. Can't wait for this just to see how it goes. This is the event.
Here it is.
And they're using the 90s font because Ben Reilly, but we'll see. And Justice League Last Ride from Chip Zdarsky, again, with the great stuff, out of continuity Elseworld story, drawn by Miguel Mendoza. I don't remember how many issues there is of this series, but we'll see. But yeah, fun stuff. Aliens Aftermath, #1 from Ben Percy with art by Dave Wachter is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second attempt of an Alien book from Marvel. The first one is called Alien.
Mm-hmm.
This is called Aliens Aftermath.
Yep.
It is, I believe, a sequel to Aliens.
Uh-huh.
Good luck.
I think it looks like it has something to do with LV-426.
It does indeed. Hadley's Hope and everything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You had like the bigger portion of books.
I did. Yeah.
Die 18 comes out.
Die 18.
So there you go, folks. I think we're coming to the end.
I think you're right.
Numbers are hard. Way of X #4 is coming out.
The last one of Way of X.
Before we switch on over, written by Simon Spurrier with art by Jonathan Hickman. Excalibur #22.
Yeah.
Which is just like,
look at the wizard on the cover.
That's Merlin.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
I mean,
last time
admittedly speaking, he's a wizard.
He might be he's the OG wizard, in fact.
I'm looking forward to see what's going on with here. There's a lot of factors going into this. They're not X factors, but they are factors.
I know there's no more X. There ain't gonna be no more X factors.
Wonder Woman #775 is also coming out. If you've been enjoying that book, you can pick that up as well. I have. So I'm gonna check that out.
Yay!
This one also 40 pages though. It's only $4.99.
Well, they know how to sell comics sometimes. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't know. Stealth Plays 29. Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man too. Nice. I don't not like the other guys.
No, it's just that's your.
But that's my favorite. By the way, I will also. But here's my ding for the MCU.
And not just because you share a birthday with.
No, we do have the same birthday. But yeah, we what was it? I will say this ding for the MCU. I don't know why they don't like the Homecoming suit so much. They keep wanting to change it.
Yeah, I heard
it's
about
the best one. Best suit. It's got the fat red spider on the back. Bring the fat red spider back, you cowards. At least they did it. So you know what? Every time I feel bad, I can just jump into PS4 Spider-Man and just be that. Just have a great old time. Just have a grand old time. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Don't forget, of course, to watch us over on twitch.tv/ComicPop and watch this young lady play video games every Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's me.
In the evening. To play video games. You're playing what the hell is that game called? Control. There we go.
Single word.
Just a word though. It's like it might have been called like bread. I don't know.
I'd play bread.
Yeah, of course you would, because you played a pizza game not too long ago. But anyway, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and of course, go over to patreon.com/ComicPop for more. Or if you want to help us out in any way, just subscribe to ComicPop Returns and go over to youtube.com/ComicPop. Subscribe over there. Get us to 100K as soon as we can. We also are up for a podcast award. Both this show and Elseworlds Exchange for the podcast awards. I don't know. You can go to the website and see if you can help us out by nominating us. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Don't even worry about it. So we'll see you guys next time with another episode. I am Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Thanks a lot for watching and keep reading. So
Bye.
long.